Friends, welcome back to Drawing Conversation. As always, I am your dedicated nerd host and artist, Danny Fisher. And today I want to draw for you one of the greatest mixed martial arts fights of all time, in my opinion. UFC 248, Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Let's get drawing. Now guys, before we get started, as always, I wanted to thank you so much for your time. I know it's precious. And hey guys, if you haven't already, I hope today's the day that I earn your subscription. Now folks, I typically do a bunch of nerdy topics for comic book, sci-fi, fantasy, but today I want to change it up and I wanted to talk a little bit about my love for martial arts and how much I enjoy watching the UFC and really just enjoy watching people compete at the highest level. After all, it was Socrates who said, "No one has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. What a disgrace it is to grow old and die without ever seeing the beauty and strength in which their body is capable of." And nowhere else, in my opinion, was that shown than in UFC 248, Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. This was an amazing fight. It was the immovable object versus the irresistible force. Seeing a fight at this level of skill, of power, of endurance, guys, you should have counted yourself lucky if you saw that fight live. I mean, the energy and excitement. Well, we're going too far. Let's back up. In one corner, we have Joanna Jedrzejczyk, the Polish powerhouse, the Muay Thai tactician. Holds gold and silver medals in Muay Thai championships from around the world. She is truly a champion and a professional in her sport. And across the cage, we have the reigning and defending champion, Zhang Weili, the Chinese Kung Fu sensation, fighting out of Beijing, China. She is a physical dynamo with over 23 professional fights and was the women's strawweight champion. And when these two finally go head-to-head in Las Vegas, it is not only one of the best women's fights, but one of the best fights in history. Now, round one opens up, and for the first 30 seconds, the two are just feeling each other out, finding their range. But when the strikes start, the combos are insane, and neither are backing down. Weili is using her power, and is a classic counter fighter. She's constantly looking for her opponents to make mistakes and then catch them when they're open. Neither, however, are taking big risks. Everything is calculated. Every move is precise, and there's no wasted energy in any of their strikes. There's kind of an odd exchange at the end of the round, and just like that, round one is done. Now round two opens up with a huge exchange by Zhang Weili. And Weili makes several takedown attempts, but Joanna is just not letting herself get drugged to the mat. This exchange ends with Weili delivering a powerful elbow. Both are firing with everything they've got. Joanna starts to find her timing and manages to land a beautiful front head kick, and then following up with a flurry of punches in the clinch. And that ends round two. What's kind of weird is, for some odd reason, Weili is actually picked up by her coaches and taken into her corner. Wasn't sure what that was about. Round three opens up, and Joanna seems to be much more in control, and is looking to land that front kick again. She is just so technical. But Weili won't fall for the same trick twice. Even though she does seem really gassed, she's able to avoid those front head kicks. Joanna is really starting to find her timing at this point, and it's Weili that may be looking to be gassed. She starts to look for takedowns and even drags Joanna down a few times. But just as quickly, Joanna is back on her feet. And this is where you start noticing that huge hematoma starting to grow on Joanna's head. I mean, you're actually watching that hematoma grow right before your eyes. And this is the difference in sheer power. Weili delivered a right hand counter so hard to Joanna's forehead that it immediately started the swelling. This showcases just how strong the champion is. But Joanna keeps moving forward, sensing the fatigue in Weili. And boom, just like that, the round ends. Now we're going into the championship rounds. In the UFC and standard bouts, it's a 3-round bout, but for championship titles, you go to 5. As they dive into round 4, you really have a hard time telling just who's winning the fight. It is so evenly matched. Weili is starting to look like she's getting her second win and is throwing some serious power behind her punches. Both landing giant shots in this round. And you can really see how technical Joanna is. I mean, it's absolutely obvious. In this fight alone, Joanna throws over 441 strikes. Zhang Weili is not far behind with 408 strikes. Now, to put in perspective, the most punches thrown in a UFC fight is held by Max Holloway at 744 strikes. Now, guys, I would challenge you, get in front of a punching bag and see how many strikes you can land in 25 minutes. It is extremely difficult to even come close to these numbers. But you know what's not hard? Hitting that subscribe button. No, but really, it truly helps out. And hey, just like that, round 4 comes to an end. Both have 2 minutes to recover before the championship and final round begins. Between rounds, the doctors actually have to come over to Joanna's corner and just inspect that hematoma. But there is just no quit in this champion. The two come out and give each other a hug of respect, and then go right back at it. Now, both of these champions are showing signs of fatigue, but there just is no quit, and Weili is now finding a home for that left hook. But just when you think Joanna's hurt, she starts firing right back. And here is again where we see Weili's power. She just is not afraid to move forward and absorb damage. In the last seconds, both throw spinning back fists, but it's Joanna's that finds a clean home for that. And just like that, the round is over. It's up to the judges. Winning by split decision, it is Zhang Weili, which is really not that surprising because to be the champion, you've got to beat the champion. And very rarely do you see championship titles given unless the old champ is genuinely beat. If you have the chance to watch this fight and you want to see two individuals at their very peak of experience and power, do yourself a favor. Go out and watch UFC 248 Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. And that is what made UFC 248 the fight of the year in 2020. Folks, thanks again for watching. Your support truly helps this channel. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, turn on those notifications, and leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing, and I will talk to you again soon.